Time to test out the death sound effect. I'm actually pretty surprised by how quickly I was able to get all of this working the way I wanted to. So here's everything I have. I can walk around, sprint, I can crouch, jump, and if I crouch jump, I get a higher jump. If I crouch and move forward and jump, I get a hop dash, and then there's a 5-second cooldown. But if I jump right as I land, here now I can't get it to work. If I do the dash, but then I jump right as I land, I can keep the boost going, and the cooldown counts down the whole time. So if you keep the boost going long enough, then even if you pause the boost, you can boost again right away afterwards. Normally, if you were going to have a really, well, I don't know if this is really complex, but the more complex you start to make a player character like this, you would probably want to have something like a state machine. I've just used a few timers and a bunch of if statements, and I managed to get it working in a pretty short period of time. And I'm not going to do anything to try to make that, any more extensible or organized. It works, and it's a small game. Dash is a bit... Oh, something happened there, though. Now I have infinite dash. Okay, not sure what that was. Alright, exploit, people. Infinite dash somehow. And now I just need to add the ability to actually look around. That was also quick, though I would say the sensitivity is a little high. Seems like the captured mouse mode also doesn't work in the preview. Well, I'm never actually calling this. There we go. Now it's a full game. And this is looking pretty good, like right here. Ooh, it might be too far. Either the jump needs to be a shorter hop, or the boost needs to be not as fast. Sprint is already pretty fast, so the walk's kind of slow. You can make the walk a little bit slower, sprint a little bit slower, and the boost is quite a boost. I was thinking, like a short hop. I could also make the jump shorter while you're boosting, like the jump height smaller, so that you hit the ground faster. Hang on. Oh yeah, I did add that. I forgot about that. So I added the ability to short hop like in Mario. If you hold the jump button longer, you do jump higher. I am going to make that a little bit more pronounced because there's not a huge difference there. Right, and this is kind of why you would probably want to do like a state machine or something, because I'm adding boost jump velocity, crouch jump velocity, there's acceleration factors, different speeds for walk, sprint, crouch distance. I'm not even using that. Oh, wait, yeah, I am. That's how much your head moves down when you crouch. Short jump extra. So this is like we're increasing gravity by an amount when you... Anyways, there's a lot going on here. And, when you want to tweak things, you end up adding stuff, taking things away, tweaking a bunch of values. I mean, you're going to end up with a lot of things you have to do anyway, but yeah, a state machine might clean some of this up. Now if I do a boost jump, yeah, so that looks more like what I had pictured. We've got, let's pretend these trees are closer together. You're trying to get through. I'm going to add a crosshair. Do I need a crosshair? Sure, I can put a dot in the middle of the screen, whatever. So let's pretend these trees are closer together. Gotta squeeze through there. This is the danger zone. I just need to be fast. There, it's like a little dash, but the hop is only shorter on that first one. So yeah, if you can keep it going with multiple jumps, all of the jumps after that are still the regular height. Yeah, so if you can time it right, you can still really get a big speed boost. And you can change direction. You can't change direction mid-air. You only change direction when you land. So if you want to keep the hops going, you can only switch direction when you land. So there is some complexity to the movement here. It's simple, there's not a lot going on, there's a few simple rules, but it's enough that if you got good at it, you can make it fun. Also, right as you land, if you crouch and then jump again, you get an even higher jump to carry on the momentum. And I can't even do it, I'm not good enough. I can tweak the values to where I can do it, but I'm just gonna leave it as it is right now. If I had a controller, maybe, but not with my keyboard, I'm not good with this. I need some sort of area boundary around the trees so that as you get closer to the tree, it fills up a meter for that tree for the danger, right? So the meter will start filling as you enter the tree's danger zone, and the closer you get to the tree, the faster that meter will fill up until it reaches its max, the tree bursts into flames. And if you contact the tree, every tree is just going to have a really simple collider. Not going to add any complex collisions because we have a lot of trees. We're trying to keep this somewhat performant and and all of these having an area is already, I don't know what that's going to do. We'll see. I'm trying to think of like if I just added an area on the person, it still has to detect the trees though. So yeah, I think the trees need an area, and then the trees just a simple collision. And then if the player actually touches it, the tree just explodes. And the explosion comes with a pushback, sends the player flying away from the tree and through the air. So there is some chance of ping-ponging between the trees. That also means we have to add a health to the player, so you could just end up getting ping-ponging between the trees until you die. And now I've set this up kinda dumb, and so we've set up a scene for each of these trees. If you wanted to really have a big variety of trees and they're all going to be doing the same thing, you would want one tree scene that can have multiple different tree meshes or something like that. I don't know, maybe that would be the better way to do it, but you know, we're going to make one script and attach it to each of these, add an area and a collider, and actually, you know what, maybe that is what you would do. I don't know. Should it be a collider or just an area? If you enter the area at the center of the tree explodes and sends you flying away in a direction, you know, opposite the direction you entered. Like the explosion is going to be what propels you away. There doesn't really need to be any kind of physics collision. So maybe we only really need areas, 2 different areas. An outer area, the danger zone, and then an inner area, the trigger explosion. Right, now we just need to do that to... Why do these trees have an animation player? Now it's trying to update the scene to add colliders to all of these trees, so I'm thinking it's maybe frozen. Right, I'm in recovery mode, it just doesn't bother with any of this. Not 100% sure what the issue is, because in Lightspeed, I populated the planet with a bunch of trees and they all had collision, and that ran okay. We're just going to remove this tool annotation from the scatterer component. That way it doesn't try to run in the editor. So the question is, does it still freeze if I try to run it? Not looking good. Okay, let's say all trees are in layer 2. The players in layer 1. Have them all scan for layer 1 but be in layer 2. Then they're not detecting each other, right? Hang on. Since each of these has an area within an area, do they automatically not detect each other? Let's just stick explosion zones in layer 2 and danger zones in layer 3 and have them all masked for layer 1. Actually, do they need to be on different layers? If they're all trying to detect layer 1, it doesn't matter if they're inside each other, they still won't be looking for each other. I can just put them all in layer 2. There, now there's not like 300 million collisions per second as soon as I try to start the game. Let's see what happens now. It worked! Cool, now I just need to add the script. I am thinking though the level geometry is also a collider, so maybe make the player on layer 3 and have all of the trees look out for layer 3. And then, because I mean the only thing they need to look for is the player. But if all the trees explode at once, we'll know there's something going on with the level geometry. So here's where I'm at right now. I stuck a game manager on here, and it handles detecting when I'm near these trees, because having every tree do it on its own, even if it wasn't doing any work, every single one of these trees having a physics update cycle was absolutely destroying the performance. We have the explosion effect working whenever I touch a tree. Let's get a ping pong happening. Oh, 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 oh. Okay, so that all works. Here's the issue. If I get close to the tree, just say I'm entering the danger zone, and then after a few seconds, I should get pushed away. Now the way I've tried to set it up is that the further I am from the tree, the less impact the tree explosion has on the player. That was the intent. The intent was less impact. So that's what I'll be working on now. If the tree explodes, because you're within the danger zone, every frame that you're in the danger zone, it compounds the explosion. So if you spend more than one frame exploding, you get sent, 1,000 miles into the air. The tree's only going to explode once. I should actually put a flag on the tree, exploded, and then if it's exploded, you just don't have to do anything anymore. And I've activated permanent sprint again. Yeah, so if I don't figure out how to stop this, then people are going to figure out how to reproduce it pretty quickly. And then they're going to be able to just go through the game like this. So I am going to have to solve that. Okay, so I'm going to need to do like a hard check. Are you on the ground? And what happens if I just stand near a tree? Okay, that actually looks good. Hey, that's actually working. Sometimes I'm going through the tree though, and that's seems like a problem. Yeah, like I shouldn't be able to do that. It's only when I boost. I have thought about changing it so that the trees are a collider, like you smack into them. I think that would fix that. I feel like that short hop could still be a bit shorter. Now I've made the short hop a little bit more aggressive. Yeah, here's the thing too. If I don't make them colliders, then after they explode, I can just walk through them. So I need to add actual collision to the trees. One thing you see though, if I'm right on the edge of the danger zone, I get pushed toward the tree by the explosion. So let's get that fixed up. Add colliders, fix the explosion math, gotta add fire, sound effects. Let's get to work. Okay, static bodies cannot detect collisions. So if I want to change explosion zone into a collider, so that the player actually hits it and stops, either I need to have an area, the explosion zone, and a collider on it, or I have the player detect the collision and then tell the tree about it. That's probably the more performant way to do it. I'm going to put a collision detection on the player. It will inform the game manager. The game manager will have logic that says, is this a tree? If it's a tree, tell the tree to explode. Alright, so collision detection on a character body apparently has this weird caveat where the character has to be moving. I don't understand why it's so difficult to just have a collision object like a static body or a character body just have something for collision detection. Like, I mean it does, but just have standard, like, was there a collision? Within the physics, was there a collision and what did it collide with? So I think the workaround I'm going to use is to just have an area and a collider, and whatever the performance impact is of that, that's just what it is. Okay, so we've jumped ahead quite a bit, but let me show you what's changed. First of all, you're probably going to notice that things look quite a bit different at this point, and that's because I had to replace all of the trees. The trees that I got, they were a free download, but they didn't come with any kind of license that suggested that they were for free, they were for personal or commercial use, or however you could use them. And so to be safe, and because I couldn't find another pack that I liked as much, I ended up just remodeling all of the trees myself. So I actually lost quite a bit of time to that, but I think they look good. I honestly don't think they look as good as the trees I was using, but that's fine. Another thing about having modeled them myself is that now when the trees explode or they burn down, you end up with a dead version of the tree, a dead burnt version of the tree, and every tree has its own dead burnt version, and so that all worked out. Another thing you'll notice right away is we've added some nice particle effects. When you get close to the trees, they start to smoke, eventually they explode into flames, and then they smoke and they burn for a while. This right here, this ping-ponging between the trees, I'm actually finding to be such a fun part of the game, and so unintended fun, that I'm thinking I would like this to be a core mechanic, a sort of core aspect of the game. The one thing I'm thinking of adding are some power-ups, like body armor and, health, or if you get hit by, I'm thinking 3 direct hits will kill you. But if you get body armor, maybe 5, and then also you can replenish it with your health packs or whatever. And then I'm thinking of having something like a timed immortality, something like getting the star power from Mario. And then, if you get that, then you can just charge into the trees and use the explosions to try to propel yourself toward the end of the level. Another thing, I need to add a world boundary. So if I were to jump off of here, I would just fall straight into the abyss. So this obviously needs some collision on it, and I was thinking add some kind of a wall here, like a visible wall, like a stone wall, or even just like a wall of trees. But it's not super high priority, so I don't know, might not get to it, but definitely put collision on here so I can't just jump off. Still got a few bugs with some of this stuff, like these little trees, they don't smoke. They, for some reason, are missing that. These little trees as well, although that one's overlapping. Let's take a look at this one. This one won't smoke. You still touch them and they explode, but yeah, they don't have a radius. I feel like that should be an easy fix, but still gotta do it. And then sort of the next main thing that's missing in the game right now is the wildfires. So right now the trees explode, they burn, but then they're done, right? So now this is just a tree. So now that these trees are burnt, they're just harmless. They're fine, right? And I could just leave the trees that explode burning forever and put like a damage value on them if you go in them, but I'm thinking if you end up with half the map on fire, I feel like that's going to be pretty tough performance-wise, so I want to make something that's like an expanding circle of fire, like think about, the Independence Day wall of fire when the aliens attack kind of thing, spreading out. Now you also don't want to have like one of those spreading from every single tree that explodes, so they'll have to combine in some way, or have some kind of range on them where if there's already a wildfire here, then you don't start another one right next to it. have to figure that out as I play with it, but that's sort of the health and wildfires are sort of the next main mechanics that need to be in place in order to call this a game. That and some objectives. So I'm thinking on the road, when you get to the highway, we'll have a police helicopter and that can fly you out. And then, if I add another level, I can say, oh, the police helicopter crashed in the forest of New Brunswick or whatever. So I will see you when we're a few steps closer to that. Wow, this game has become basically unmaintainable on my main computer. My laptop is actually better in general than my main computer, so I haven't seen the performance hit like this. Okay, let's see. Have I died? I've definitely died. Yeah, okay. So now I have a health value, and I'm not quite sure what it took to kill me because, yeah, the performance was pretty bad right away. But now I'm just dead, so it just keeps saying player died. So 3 direct explosions, I think, should kill the player. So let's try that out. That's 1. That's 2. Oh, died. Yep, okay. So 3 explosions. Well, as you can see, I've added health. Need to add a UI like a health bar or parts. We've added that, and we've added one other thing. And this was not the easiest thing to do. This took a little while because I was thinking I would have a ring of fire around a exploded tree, and this would just expand outward. But the reason that's difficult is that this is not flat ground, and I was thinking about, well, how would you deal with this? If you were on like a Nintendo 64, you would probably try to avoid this situation altogether, right? Because the thing's just going to keep growing. You might have something like this, but it would be stationary. If it was going to grow, you would probably do it in a flat area. Anyways, so long story short, this follows the terrain. As the fire grows from any area, it should be fine. You should be able to, as the fire expands, it should just expand, up the hills, down the valleys, everything. It should be fine. And then if you touch the wildfire, that's instant death for the player. And let's try that out, because I haven't tried that out yet. Ah! Oh no! Ah! 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 Falling! Okay, so I should die as soon as I walk into this. Boom. That wasn't expected. Valid access to property or key position. Not yet position. Yeah, so the thing is that even though the flames just sit above the ground, this thing is a 500 unit tall cylinder. So when you enter the area, it has to do a raycast from the player down to the ground to decide, are you actually close enough to the fire, right? Like because when you get exploded by the trees, it's very likely that at some points in this game you're going to be soaring through the sky, right? So if you're up in the air way above this thing, it's like just, don't kill the player. Don't make this infinitely tall. Right now it's set to be about 10 units up, which I don't know how high that is, but it looks about right. If I jump in, should see player died, and it's still crashing. Oh, I'm aiming this up. Yeah, okay. I'm shooting the vector into the sky. Boom, dead. Okay, instant death. Nice. All right. It's getting a bit boring though. What I would like to see are some sound effects. When the player dies, the player should make a player death noise. When the tree explodes, it should make an explosion noise. We know all of these things. We expect them. We need to get this wildfire working. It works, right? So we have to have it. I need some logic to have it expand from explosions. This call to the game manager should maybe just be emit player died, because like other things should be able to subscribe to that. And if I were going to expand this into a full game, maybe I'd worry about that. But right now, all of the logic is pretty intertwined anyway. Like if I wanted to expand this a whole bunch, I wouldn't have health hard-coded into the player. I would have a health component. I did start to add a hitbox and a hurtbox component, and then I felt like this was kind of overkill. If I do grow this, I will only grow it a little bit more, and there's maybe 2 other planned things that would have health. I guess technically the trees and the cabin. I haven't really thought about the cabin. There's no burnt version of the cabin, but things like the trees and the cabin could be thought of as having health, and maybe the police helicopter, once it's there, could be thought of as having health, and that would cause them to, explode or go into their burnt state. But yeah, there's only so many things, so I'm not too worried about over-engineering this right now. I'm actually probably not going to use these unless things start getting tedious. When you think about it, I have 5 separate tree scenes for my trees, right? It's not great design, but I only plan on having like maybe if it goes up to like 6 or 7 or whatever, that's still not that bad, right? It's not AAA. It's a small project. It doesn't need to be that complicated. Okay, we're testing the hurt sound effects. Oh, we need a sizzle too. Oh, we've got to get the explosion sounds. Alright, time to test out the death sound effect. Here we go.
Oh no! Oh
no! There's more than that one, I promise.
Oh no! Ooh, that's spicy.
Maybe those should just be the hurt sound effects.
Oh no!
What if you had to play the game where every time you got hurt it did that? Okay, what do we need next? We need the player to actually die. We need a menu, so we can return to a menu. The idea was to have a level select, but there's only one level, currently. But the idea is that you start in the cabin and you receive an alert that you need to get out of the forest. Those will be pretty simple. It'll just be like, you're in the cabin, there's going to be a phone asset, and phone starts ringing, and when you click on the phone, it displays text on the screen. So I need the player to raycast to objects, like the door, so that it can say, hey, that's a door. You can interact with that. So I need interactables. I need to raycast to see if I'm looking at an interactable. Probably put a crosshair on the screen to make it easier to, center over top of things. I need something to display text on the screen. I need a help thing for the user interface. When you die, it needs to take control away from the player and play something, some kind of animation. I'm thinking just have the camera lie down and tilt to the side like, oh, I fell over. Or I could just tilt the whole player over, then I won't end up with any weirdness where the camera clips outside of the player. The title screen will be a level select if we have more than one level, but, that's if I get to that, maybe at some point. So at some point I might add more levels. I was thinking, I do have ideas for other levels, and there would be other mechanics in those levels, but again, I also just, I want to get something out there. So maybe this can be like a demo. And yeah, the cabin, I have already constructed the cabin internal. That's its own scene. I just need to set that up as like actually being able to go in there. What else? Still need the helicopter at the end of the level. And I think once you finish the level, maybe it like unlocks the second one, or maybe it's just like, it might just be like a challenge, whatever, right? Like, actually, if I add more levels, I'll have it unlocked, like you have to beat the first one. Yeah, still haven't done power-ups. Kind of a worry about it later thing, I think. I think the one power-up I'd really want to have, well, yeah, body armor and like temporary invincibility. I think temporary invincibility would be a really fun one. But yeah, we want to get this out the door. We want to get people playing this game. I know I want to play it. Jump into a tree again. It makes funny noises.
Toasty!
Put some explosion sound effects. Hopefully, I guess we'll see. And to keep from having every tree keeping its own explosion sound effect that it needs to maintain and trigger, the game manager just has 5 explosion sound effects, and it will cycle through those and move them to the location of the tree and play it. So that should be enough. Kind of an object pooling. Yeah! Okay, here we go. Well, now I've ruined I need to be able to recapture my mouse. I need to change something so that clicking on the screen recaptures my mouse. But let's just...
Oh no!
Oh, and there I go. Oh no. Oh, the sound effects add so much to the game. Okay, I need footstep sound effects, I need music, and so I'm going to have very peaceful music. I might even just have ambient sounds. And then after the first explosion, I might like dim the sky or add a bit of a red tinge or just play an alarm sound or something. Maybe adding too much. I don't know if I want to bother with all this, but yeah, we definitely want footstep sound effects, some kind of music.